Get an update on U.S. war efforts in Iran from Secretary Pete Hegseth later on this morning, just about an hour from now, with a 2-week pause in fighting supposed to be underway. However, just moments ago, the UAE said it is actively firing at incoming Iranian missiles. Meanwhile, overnight and ahead of his meeting today with NATO Secretary General, President Trump posting, "Today is a big day for world peace," with lots of positives to come from the ceasefire with Iran. International correspondent Robert Sherman will have more on the ground in Tel Aviv in just a moment. But first, let's start with Washington correspondent Hannah Brandt, who's at the White House. Hannah, the vice president just spoke in Hungary, saying the U.S. objectives have been achieved. But we'll know more after War Secretary Pete Hegseth and his briefing here soon.
Markie, that's right. The White House is saying that it's the military dominance that got us to this point, but there are a lot of questions that remain for the Pentagon about what comes next, especially militarily, especially after President Trump said overnight that the U.S. is going to be helping with traffic buildup in the Strait of Hormuz. The president also saying that we'll then just be hanging around to make sure everything goes well, suggesting that perhaps American forces will have a role to play moving forward. But the White House is already calling this a win for President Trump. A senior White House official did tell NewsNation that President Trump and Vice President Vance led tough negotiations that have resulted in what they call a roadmap to a diplomatic solution for long-term peace with Iran. And this morning, Vice President Vance called the current situation a fragile truce and talked about the challenges for the negotiations ahead. Take a listen.
If the Iranians are willing, in good faith, to work with us, I think we can make an agreement. If they're going to lie, if they're going to cheat, if they're going to try to prevent even the fragile truce that we've set up from taking place, then they're not going to be happy. Because what the president has also shown is that we still have clear military, diplomatic, and maybe most importantly, we have extraordinary economic leverage. So the president has told us not to use those tools. He's told us to come to the negotiating table. But if the Iranians don't do the exact same thing, they're going to find out that the president of the United States is not one to mess around.
So the VP making very clear that challenges remain in the talks ahead, but Pakistan's prime minister did invite U.S. and Iranian leaders to come to Islamabad in person this Friday for talks. The White House tells me they are discussing attending those negotiations, but says nothing is final at this point, Markie.
And Hannah, NATO Secretary General is also visiting the White House today after President Trump has been criticizing the alliance over the war in Iran. What are we expecting from that meeting between the two?
Well, certainly significant timing. The future of U.S. involvement with NATO really hangs in the balance here. Secretary General Mark Rutte is expected to meet with President Trump later today, and President Trump has been expressing a lot of frustration with NATO allies for their unwillingness to join this war, suggesting he wants the U.S. to leave NATO. And just this week, President Trump leveled pretty harsh criticism at the alliance. A senior White House official did raise those attacks again when talking with NewsNation about this new ceasefire, saying that President Trump was able to get the Strait of Hormuz reopened without the help of NATO, adding that the White House believes they should have been helping all along. Markie?
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.